In a year where the mobile phone changed everything, in a year 2014 where they said the next 1 billion finally came about, in a year where economy phones were no longer clunky, and in a year where almost every one of you came to us for advice saying, which phone should we buy? We're back again with Last Phone Standing 2014. Once again, it's the same show, the same format, but we're going to go about it very differently. For the first time ever, we've now divided it into two shows. The best phone, Last Phone Standing under 15,000, and the Last Phone Standing irrespective of price. And we'll start off with the first one, the best phone under 15,000 rupees. With me are five gentlemen. Each of them, like the format has always been, will represent one phone each, and under 15,000 rupees. The phones in contention this year are, and this has been a voice vote, a vote from the jury, and we also opened it for debate and voting with all of you. The final five chosen were the Xiaomi Mi 3, the Nokia Lumia 730, the Moto G second generation, the Android One phones, we'll basically go with either Spice or Carbon, doesn't really matter, and the Yureka, Micromax's new brand. And like I said, each represented by one person. They will have 45 seconds to represent why this phone should be the phone of the year under 15,000 rupees. One question from the jury, after that one question from the audience, and a final vote. And right at the end of the show, we shall declare the phone of the year under 15,000 rupees. Let's get started with Xiaomi Mi 3, and representing that phone is Rahul. Rahul, let's have you here. Time is yours, 45 seconds, the Xiaomi Mi 3. Why is that the phone of the year?
Okay, despite all the controversy regarding whatever is happening with the brand Xiaomi, the device actually, the Mi 3 actually is something that has rewritten the rules in terms of under 15,000 rupees smartphone range. The device came with high-end hardware specifications, the best software, a very appealing design, although premium metal or glass were not used in that design, but still the build quality of that device is what people are actually talking about. The battery part, the battery life of the device is really good. So in a budget of around 15,000 rupees, that's what I think is the best what people can actually buy as of today.
That's pretty much your pitch. Okay, gentlemen, we'll start with any one of you.
The device is great, but the problem is that it's not available. How does one tackle that situation? So if I'm ready to buy your best phone, where do I go buy it?
So, going by their flash sale method, you have to actually wait for the device to be made available to you. But yes, if you once you get it, you know that the device is the best round.
Sir, my question is simple and straight. Have we as consumers come to a point where we can completely trust a Chinese brand?
Okay. Definitely, you can trust a Chinese brand as far as they have their service center and all the sales team set up in India.
So does Xiaomi have that?
They are providing
centers and sales team set up.
So they are providing service through their third-party partners in India. So yes, if you get your device, you manage to spoil your device or something like that, you get that service in India itself.
Thank you, Rahul. Thank you so much. What I'm going to ask is first, of course, jury, please go ahead and give the Xiaomi Mi 3 as well as Rahul the points that you think it deserves. While I'm going to ask the audience, green for those people that think it's phone of the year based on what Rahul said right now, or a red. Okay, so audience would go with about 50%. Okay, Rahul, I think we've got your scores in. Now we're going to move to Nishant Padyar, who's joining us from Mumbai. And the phone that Nishant is going to be representing is the Nokia Lumia 730.
Alright, so my sales pitch is this. First of all of us are very familiar with the brand Nokia. We've grown up with it. And I think for all good reason, this might be the last phone that actually has the brand Nokia embedded on the phone hardware itself. And apart from that, it hits a very sweet spot of the price as well as specs. This also works on a Snapdragon processor. The USP is actually that it's a selfie phone and it has a great wide aperture 24mm focal length front-facing camera, and that really has some really cool features like the Lumia selfie mode, which actually brightens up your teeth. It also makes you a bit more softer looking. So it might be a bit of a gimmick for most people, but actually it really works when you are taking a selfie. Apart from that, the build quality is fantastic. All of us know that the different colored shells are made of very durable polycarbonate, and they are very sturdy even if you drop them. All in all, I think it's a fantastic device for that price.
The fact that you yourself said, Nishant, that it's the last phone from Nokia, doesn't that sort of eliminate your sales pitch completely, because you're saying that the company stopped making phones and this then is the last phone that they've made? Then how is it the best phone?
Because then it becomes the last phone standing automatically.
Exactly right. So that's I'm completely vindicated now.
Lumia 730 is a phone which is heavy on camera features like the selfie mode or the Lumia Storyteller and many more, but it has got no dedicated camera shutter button. What's with that?
A lot of people actually miss that button, but when I actually used it, I didn't so much, because when you actually switch on the phone, it's very easy to make a shortcut on Windows. As you know, you can make your own tiles. And in fact, whenever you use the shutter button on the hardware device itself, you cause the device itself to shake a little bit, and that actually gives you softer pictures than, at least to me, than actually pressing a virtual button.
Okay, and Nishant, I'm going to take a green versus red vote from the audience right now. For Nishant, all those that agree that this could be the phone of the year under 15,000 rupees, green, all others red. Okay. But Nishant, you've been able to take it forward to about 60% of the audience vote. There's about 60 points from the audience. So good going, Nishant. Thank you very much. We're going to come to you for some of your questions now. Thank you. And of course, the next is the phone that we're now going to go on to is the Moto G, the second generation phone. Moto came in with a big bang, literally a revival of a dead brand. And Moto G was one of the reasons they came back with a big bang. Second generation of that phone. PK Roy is going to take us through.
Moto G is the iPhone of the 12K class. It's good enough in just about every department. It's not outstanding in every feature, because there'll always be something feature-wise a little better, but it's the phone I'd recommend to friends and family. In fact, I have. And they started with the G's original version, and they fixed with the Moto G second generation. Some of the things were deficient, like the camera is better now, the screen's a little bigger. Overall, it's a reliable phone from a reliable brand, because a lot of the niche brands which are there, a lot of geeks are very excited with them, but there's not going to be a lot of people actually buying those. People are going ahead and buying the G, and I think that's where it makes a real impact.
My only question to PK is that it looks too generic compared to Moto X. Obviously, there's a huge price differential as well, but how do you convince yourself to buy something that is so generic looking?
I think it's a fairly smart looking phone, and when people begin to use it, they really appreciate, and the first level looks is something you get past very quickly.
The material used in the phone is not that much good, and if you talk about the price, it's okay, it's low budget and it's okay with the price. But if we talk about the material used, I don't think that it is supposed to be the material that has been used to create that phone. There should be some good quality of that material.
And the question is, why can't they go a little bit more premium? It's not a 4,000-5,000 rupee phone, so why not go a little bit more premium? After all, it's Motorola.
So I found the material fairly sturdy. The same criticism was there with the first version too. They could have done things to improve, but in this category, you know, you're not really looking at brushed aluminium. You're not looking at a very premium finish. It's fairly sturdy, and if you drop the Moto G, you find that it kind of survives rather well.
Audience would go with about 67.5. Thank you so much. Okay, with that 67.5% points coming in for the Moto G, we will take a break right now, but lots more, 2 more phones to go, and then we'll also be voting on categories. The most innovative phone under 15,000 doesn't have to be from these 5, and the best looking phone you could have bought under 15,000 rupees, all after the break. Last one standing will continue. Welcome back. This is the last phone standing. The category and award and honor up for grabs is the best phone under 15,000 rupees. We will also vote on 2 more, the most innovative and the best looking phone under 15,000. We've gone through 3. 2 more to go. Right now coming up is the Android One series of phones. Remember, 3 different companies came up with them, Spice, Carbon and Micromax. So it doesn't really matter because all 3 were very close. But we're mainly going with Spice and Carbon on this one. Android One phones represented by Nikhil.
The Android One is for me the nexus of the masses. What Google essentially did was to provide you the first smartphone experience that matters to you. You get regular updates, You don't feel cheated that you bought a device and it's been 2 years, you haven't got an update. You get data packages and you have a standard specification set for you so that the experience doesn't deteriorate. You get 1 GB RAM, you get a dual SIM, you get an FM radio, you get a quad-core processor, you get a 5 megapixel camera. All these things in a device for different manufacturers to standardize the Android and your first smartphone experience.
Okay, all right. Question from the jury?
Android One seems to be more aimed at, upgrading the feature phone users.
Yeah.
Because it's priced at that class. So it doesn't seem to really compare with some of the phones in the 12 to 15K class,
True.
in terms of everything, the overall
Absolutely.
package, brand value, etc. What do you think about that?
I agree with you, but this is an initiative that matters. I'm not talking about a specific device or a brand over here, but the initiative that they've taken to bring the next 1 billion online and get them a smartphone experience. So I think it was somehow a game changer, bringing the next generation of people to smartphone phones.
Sir, my question is, Android One is a good attempt, but it's not really for everyone, and it does not have great hardware.
It's not a great smartphone. You would not call it a best smartphone out there under 15K, but it is the first smartphone that will, see, if you buy a device under 10K or for that matter 6K, you would always feel that you bought this device from any company and you have never got an update. You feel left out. And you also feel that, there are bundle packages along with it that you can download apps, try new apps, because I've seen people buying smartphones under 6K, not activating data, thinking, okay, I'll spend a lot on downloading apps or updating the phone. So these things really matter when you're buying the first smartphone and you have to experience apps. This is what the smartphone experience is all about. If you're not able to download apps, try them out, what's the point of buying a smartphone?
All that agree with him are green. Those that don't think this is phone of the year are red.
75.
75? Not 80?
Not 80.
77.5 on that one. Nikhil, great job. You've taken a phone that may well be the lowest price in this one. At least you've convinced the audience. But remember, you've got 4 other people to convince right now. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. And the last phone on our last phone standing under 15,000 is the Yureka. This is a phone by Micromax under the new brand U. And they're really trying to do something very different, almost revolutionary. Can it really be that they pull off the revolution? Because Bharat represents them. Let's find out with Bharat Nagpal on the Yureka.
It's 2014 is coming to an end. It's high time that we finally had a company of Indian origin that allowed people to come and develop for their devices. And Micromax has taken that initiative. Although more of it is copied from a lot of other companies, but the initiative is strong. The phone is priced right at 9,000 rupees. It comes with impressive specs. We were talking about specs. It has a 64-bit chipset on the inside, the first in this price bracket. A similar device costs 32,000 with the same chipset. It has 2 GB of RAM, it has 16 GB of storage, a 13 and a 5 megapixel camera combination. I mean, it has everything along with a 2500 milliamp hour battery. And the best of all, it comes with Cyanogen mod that allows you to tweak the device, customize it. So it's like a developer's playground. You play with the phone, you make your own ROMs, and basically allows the person to buy the phone and customize it, tweak it, use it as his phone, as Android was supposed to be used.
It just seems very intimidating as a platform to get head on, because people are already confused between iOS, Windows and Android. I'm talking about the layman on the street. Does the promise of Cyanogen mod or getting into a platform that is unknown really that attractive?
Nishant, essentially what the device is an Android device. Cyanogen is a build of Android. So it's not really that confusing. It's not really completely different. If you've been using Android, if you've used any other Android phone in the past, it's essentially the same usage, but they allow a lot more capability for developers. And the fact that it comes with hardware inside, you have a great camera, you have a great front-facing camera, and a good display along with great battery. I think it totally fits in for everyone else.
Phone's price and its specification are quite impressive, as I know. But what about the firmware and the after-sale services? Because I don't think Micromax provide good services, good after-sale services.
Micromax has sort of taken this initiative to start a new, younger brand. They remove most of their overheads by making it available only online, so they don't have a distribution sales network. So they reduce the prices. They do have a good service network already. Even though their service is bad, that's because the way they were working with their hardware, the hardware would become obsolete by the time it required service, so the parts were not available. They're changing that with the U, and they're manufacturing this device in a different fashion, so they'll have spares and they'll have parts available more frequently.
Let's find out. Green if you agree, red if you don't agree. Audience would go with about 87.5 on that one. The rest of it, of course, is completely left to the jury. Nishant, I hope you're marking it out there. So that then were the 5 phones, and the results are being tallied right now. We know what the audience gave, we do not know what the jury gave as points. So while the audience and the jury points are being tallied, we'll do a very quick round of finding out 2 more things. Now, it doesn't matter, the 2 categories that I'll speak about. It doesn't matter if it's to do with these 5 phones. We'll just find out which was the phone of the year in terms of looks, under 15,000, and the most innovative phone of the year, under 15,000 rupees. Best looking phone under 15,000 rupees.
So, in terms of the looks, I was conflicted between the Mi3 and the new Yureka, but they have a really nice finish on the Yureka U, so I'll give it to that one.
Zenfone 5.
Second generation Moto G2. The Moto G second generation.
The Nokia 730.
The best, most innovative phone under 15,000 rupees.
Unfortunately or fortunately, it again goes back to the Yureka U.
Mi3 because, you know, it changed the game with the UI they offered and a lot of other things.
Yureka is the most innovative phone at this price point.
It has to be the Android one because that is going to be a game changer for, I think, the masses and maybe a billion more.
Let's find out now about the results. Now, after all those awards, it's time for the final results. The last phone standing under 15,000. I'm going to go in order of the top 3. Could have been even second because there's just 1 point that separates it from the second position, the Moto G. Second, surprisingly, goes to the man from Mumbai, Nokia Lumia 730. Nishant, are you surprised at that result?
I am, because even I wasn't really rooting for Windows, but it's a great surprise.
And the phone of the year under 15,000 is the man with the beard, the Yureka from Micromax. Not a surprising result because I think even you people voted for it highly. So did the jury. We'll see you next week on Last Phone Standing, that very show. See you then. Thank you.